Welcome to the 10-day growth hacking challenge with your host, Nader Sabri. Today, we're here with Shahd Ahmed, and we are growth hacking how to take a $500,000 TV commercial, squeeze it into 15 seconds for $50, and be able to learn it in less than 5 minutes. Awesome. So we're going to be doing that in 3 growth hacks. Before we get started, just as a reminder, this is based on the growth thinking methodology available in the book here. In the challenge, it is 10 days, 3 growth hacks with the objective to 10x your business. Before we get started, I want to remind you guys as well, we have a secret growth hack, a secret super growth hack for Shahd, which we will not be telling you about right now. We'll be sharing with you in the future. We want to keep you excited, but meanwhile, today we're going to dig into growth hack number 1. Shahd, I'm going to pass it over to you. If you can explain to us growth hack number 1, how it's worked, what the results look like, and what is next. Go for it.
Hi. Nice to see you again. How's it going?
I'm doing okay. It's summer is kicking in. It's heating up.
It really is.
Right?
It really is. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So for growth hack number 1, I've managed to bring it down to basically the pre-production stage, where this is actually a vital aspect of production because this is your strategy, right? Like you have to think of, okay, what's the most effective way to deliver the message that you're trying to convey? Oh, that rhymes. Okay, so with that, I came up with 5 main factors that could help you execute any video very efficiently and cost effectively as well. So let's get into it. Okay, so the most important thing is actually, okay, so number 1 is the storyline. Every video or every advert needs to tell a story. So whether it is to promote a product or a service or, you know, raise awareness about a certain, you know, cause or something, storyline is very, very important. And it also needs to be very culture appropriate. And let's not forget that there's a lot of adverts out there that I find very offensive, actually. And when I have a look at it, I'm like, that could have been done a little bit more sensitively, you know, so storyline is very, very important. Number 2 would be your key message. What are you saying? You know, okay, so this is a great story. It's amazing. It's you know, it's got people hooked, but what are you trying to say here? You know, what do I get out of it? That's what people usually think of when they're watching something or they're looking at an advert, you know? The 3 thing is visual. So having a mood board is very, very important. And whenever I try to tell like clients and brands or even influencers or people that, okay, where's your mood board? They're like, oh, I'll just, you know, take a photo here and there. It would look pretty with, you know, this and that. I'm like, no, you need a mood board because that's essentially your
what is a mood board? What exactly is the mood board?
So the mood board is basically the look and feel of your advert. So how do you want the model to pose? What is the makeup brief? Like, do you want it hard, like intense makeup, light, natural makeup? How do you want the hairstyles to be? What kind of poses? What kind of clothes? Locations, you know, model options. Even if you're doing a food shoot, you know, how do you want to style the shoot? Is it a flat lay sort of thing, or are you doing it at an angle? Are you putting other elements in? Like, there's so much more to it. And the mood board is just basically a guide that helps you execute, you know, and this is very important because it has everybody on board. Because it's like, okay, we're all on this team and we're all working to deliver the same advert. Okay, so what do we want it to look like? Oh, okay, this is your inspo. Okay, this is how we are all going to work together to execute this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it galvanizes everybody to the creative direction that this is going to be taking
exactly
to know where we're going. Got it. Okay.
Yeah. And even if it's a video, like you have inspo videos, like Maybe you like the color grading of this video. Maybe you like the visual effects of this or the special effects of that. So you take bits and pieces and you put them into a little scrapbook, you know, which is a mood board.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah. So that's the visual. And then you have the appeal. So this is actually very important because a lot of people miss the ball with this because they don't realize how important the appeal is and how important it is to actually highlight it. Like, you know, you can either go the logical route, or you could go the emotional route, or you go the moral route, you know? Like you'll find a lot of like for sports, for example, for Nike's ad, it was very emotional because I don't know, I can't remember the campaign actually, but it had like the diversity. It had like a hijabi woman, and it was mostly like women and of all races and stuff. And that was more emotional because it was like, wow, it's the first time we see a hijabi woman on a Nike ad. Like, that's crazy. That's amazing. You know, then you have, usually for nonprofits, they go, you know, moral, you know what I mean? They're like, oh, you have to donate, help save. They use keywords, you know, along with so many other things like the music they use. That, you know, I did a study once and on the effects of background music on TV adverts, and actually you're more inclined to purchase or, you know, have an action with effective music. So for example, by 70%. So if the music is good, if it matches the visual, 70% of the time you're actually going to purchase or donate or raise awareness about
I mean,
this.
music can make like the biggest difference. I guess sometimes with something like a bit high beat, high energy, and they're trying to sell you something that has to do with energy, bam, like it jives with the whole idea. Okay, cool.
Absolutely. And actually, when I was doing this study, we were actually asked to watch a movie silent, and then they turned on, because then you're left with your imagination to think, what are they saying? How are they saying it? What are they feeling? You know what I mean? And then when we watched it with the background music and the dialogue, we're like, oh, this is
big difference.
Not really what, this is not what we thought it would be. Like, this is a scary movie, but we didn't feel that. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah.
I used to run this experiment internally with my team for like visual communication. So I'd be traveling like in China, for example, I'd be at a metro station and there's an advertisement, right? So I'd take a picture of it and I would ask, of course, somebody with me, what does it say in Chinese? And so they'd tell me, for example, in this case, it was a skincare product. So I send the picture to my team. I'm like, can you tell me what product they're advertising? Even if the product is not visible, but from the visual communications. And so what would happen is like, obviously first comment is like, I can't read Chinese, but I say, well, that's not the point. The point here is like, I want you to figure it out. And so we would go back and analyze advertisements using in other parts of the world, how they're using visual cues that are irrelevant of the language that's actually written. And it's quite incredible, very powerful. And it's like a whole science in itself, but very amazing. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. And you'll find a lot of that, especially with skincare.
Yes.
You know? Skincare, beauty, it's very big with visual communication. Like they really, and I've noticed actually in Asia, because they're very into skin whitening, you know, and being fair and stuff. So they actually over edit a lot of their campaigns as well, you know? Yeah, so it's actually very interesting. I find it very interesting, at least.
Cool. Cool. So that's, and so the fifth part is, what's the last one?
The call to action.
Call to action.
The call to action.
Yeah. So just buy it or donate or, you know, vote or whatever it might be. Okay, cool. So just let's quickly recap. So you've got the 5 elements. So number 1 is the storyline. And then the key message, and then the appeal. Is that right?
Visual.
The visual. Sorry, the visual, and then the appeal, and finally the call to action. And that essentially is the format that would be used in a really big commercial, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. How do we downsize that?
Well, here is the trick.
There we go. That's what we're waiting for. Awesome.
So, you know, it's actually very simple because it's kind of like a recipe, you know, like let's say you're making a cake, you know, you're baking a cake. Essentially need the same things, but maybe you want to have it vegan. So you change a little bit of the ingredients. It's basically the same formula. You just apply different ingredients.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So for storyline, usually we hire content writers and copywriters, sorry, for this. But if you're a writer yourself, or you like to write, or you're a blogger, you could definitely do that on your own and try it out, especially if you're doing it for your own blog or for your own website or portfolio, whatever the case may be. It's very important that you actually study the brand.
Yeah.
To be able to tell the story. You know what I mean? It's not what you think is right. It's what the brand wants you to deliver. Not a lot of people know how to bridge that.
Well, a lot of people, I think, also as well, is defining their own brands, especially in the era of personal branding, which is where we are today. When you open that up to all the Instagrammers and the influencers of the world, I mean, at the core of it is personal branding. And I've noticed like there's a definition problem there sometimes. And I think in all fairness, sometimes you need to discover your way to what your brand is. And then in some other ways, there's some things you just need to create as pillars to the designing your brand, just to communicate and get it out there. Yeah, cool.
Yeah. So I think if you, for example, you're working with a water brand, you know what I mean? You have to identify the unique selling points. Yep. It's not just water, which is kind of, because water is, it's like, okay, it's generic. It's a generic video. Wow, you can use it here, there, and then what? You know, you have to define like the sodium content, the pH levels, where is it, you know, where is it made? Where is it packaged? Does it, you know, I forgot the term, but it's like, does it comply with, you know, international labor rights? Does it, you know, there's so much more to it than just water, you know? So storyline is very important. And especially if you're going to consolidate it in 15 seconds, it needs to be like snappy.
Snap.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. So how do you, okay, so how do you take a story and make it like snappy? So just for like relative terms here, right? 15 seconds would be how many words in a script approximately? Do you have any idea what that would look like?
It depends on, again, it depends on the brand. It depends what we're promoting here.
Okay, and like kind of the speed of it as well, right? In the sense of just getting a word count. Yeah, because I do that, like when we look at scripts and we're looking at like, hey, we have a time frame in which we need to do things. We step back, we're like, okay, like how many words is that? And then we look at, there's a calculator actually you can go to online. I don't remember the name of it, but you literally put in like how many words in 5 minutes or 15 seconds. And then you put a speed, low speed, mid speed, or high speed, and it just gives you a number. And then you've got like a parameter. And I think like one of the most vital things in creativity is knowing your limitations. It's actually creativity in the box, not creativity out of the box. So I mean, okay, cool. So I didn't know if you knew that, but like there's a calculator for it.
I didn't know there was a calculator for it, actually.
There is.
Oh, that's amazing. I didn't know that.
We ran into this problem so many times both ways. Like if we were to write it like this, how long would it take? And if we wanted something this long, how many words would it be? So yeah, there's like something out there for everybody to get solutions.
That's beautiful. Anyways,
that's
exactly. Amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, we work with a lot of VO artists, and for us, it depends on the VO artist. Like sometimes you have a minute script, which is maybe like they can do it in an hour of recording, but then some people take like 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know. Yeah, exactly. I didn't know about that. I will look into that actually.
Yeah, I mean, that's cool. I mean, if we can figure it out in our next video, that would be really cool, just to tell people like 15 seconds is X amount of words for low, medium, and high speed. And so, and because also like a structure for scripts, I'm sure there are some of them out there. I've seen some, and I've seen some people do some really good structures with different type of storylines. And it feels kind of generic, but it's an excellent hack for those who are just not copywriters, right? Not everybody has to be like just super over the top creative. You need to be just able to just get it done and then experiment and get to the next level, right? So
exactly.
definitely, some structured script. All right, cool. So what else?
Storyline. So that's the storyline.
Okay.
I think that's pretty much it. Just to have like something that's catchy and appealing, and identifying unique selling points of the brand is very, very important. And that will lead you to key message. When you're creating your advert, like, okay, so for example, you want to advertise a skincare product. Okay, so your storyline is it makes you feel beautiful, rejuvenated, all of these things. Okay, great. Applicable for all skin types. Amazing. What's your unique selling point?
Yeah.
What do you want to highlight? Okay.
And in 15 seconds, like the key here is like in 15 seconds, how do you squeeze that in? Because if you got like a list of like 10 awesome benefits or 10 awesome features, I think it's usually better to go with benefits than features. How do you squeeze that in 15 seconds? Like they just boom. It's got to be super quick.
But you pick, what I would do at least is I would see what their competitors are doing and do the opposite. Okay. So they're highlighting, brightening, rejuvenation. I will focus on like, okay, let's talk science. So in how long will you see results? Where is it coming? Is it marine life based? Is it, these kind of things. So I would actually see what the competitors are not doing and do that.
Yeah.
Focus on those kind of features.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. Okay. So in this hack that you're going to do now, I mean, you're going to be developing an actual example. I don't know, you haven't got to it yet, but you've laid down the groundwork to do that for hack number 1. And you're going to basically take all the 5-point format, highlight, create 5 videos, right? And then you're going to highlight in each one of them how you would emphasize that one part of the actual format. And people can just see it in action in 15 seconds. Okay, that is super cool. So I'll ask you a question. So when I watch like a TikTok video or something like that, and they feel so erratic and spontaneous, you know what I mean? Like there is a structure. Okay, I believe in that, but it's just so out there and so spontaneous that it's like, was there really somebody like really focused on a strategy to make it that structured and that precise? And so maybe like some of the spontaneous elements that are happening in people's lives, because I see this happen all the time. I mean, I guess in different ways, where an influencer has to work or act super fast on their feet, where they see an opportunity and then they turn it into a story, right? And then boom, they flip it out. But in this particular case, this is like we're actually planning for something. Can spontaneism come into a planned 15-second social commercial? Is that possible?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love candid shots and spontaneous shots. And sometimes they actually work better than what you've planned for visuals,
Yeah.
And like there's so many times where you could be on set and the camera's still rolling, and one of the cast members, they do like a certain movement or a certain facial expression, and that is what they actually take.
Yeah.
Not the like, oh, smile.
Yeah, it's just spontaneous. It's just something they wouldn't expect that came out of it. Very cool.
Exactly.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay.
Absolutely. I love that. Yeah.
So hack number 1 is about downsizing the big commercial. It's down to that 5-point format. You're going to develop for us 5 examples. Each one will highlight one of the 5, and we'll show it how to actually develop it behind the scenes as an example, so people can see how to do this. And just as a reminder, your hack number 1, if I remember correctly, is about creating the format and being able to use that format as a cookie cutter, just and scale on that. And that's what we're talking about here today. I know that we slowed down a bit, gone into a bit of detail, and that's what this is about, because we got to know what's happening behind the scenes. I think with the example that you're going to bring, with the live example, I don't know if you want to share more about that, or do you want to wait till that's done and ready and we display it? It's up to you. You tell me.
I prefer waiting.
Yeah.
I prefer waiting and letting you see that. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
waiting.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, great. So I think that's it. We're good for
Okay.
hack number 1. We'll see you in 3 days for hack
Awesome.
number 2, and then we'll go from
Amazing.
there. Yeah. Awesome. So for those
Yeah,
tuning in,
perfect.
this is Shahd Ahmed. She's with us, helping to downsize big commercials from $500,000 professional TV commercials to $50 in 15 seconds, and being able to learn how to pull it off in less than 5 minutes. That's the growth hack we're working on across all 3 of them. We're going to be having some examples that will come in to show the format, which is the hack number 1, which we're talking about here today. So for those tuning in, you can go to the bottom and get more information about Shahd and what she does, and if you'd like to reach out to her. And just as a reminder, this is based on the growth thinking methodology. This is the 10-day growth hacking challenge. We've got 10 days, 3 growth hacks, 10x growth. We'll see you in the next hack in 3 days, which is hack number 2.
Yes. Amazing.